Bar halacha, and here's a brand new halacha for you, and it is for Wednesday, and that's going to be the 18th day of November. Here we go. Ladles. If you want to have kosher ladles used in your kitchen, and if it happened because of the way you bought your stuff that your meat ladle, that ladles out fleishik soup, is identical to your dairy ladle, then that's a problem. They're going to get mixed up, and you're going to get into all kinds of bad trouble with that. So they should look different. That's the best way to try to set it up, that you have a meat ladle that looks very different than your dairy ladle. Or if they are identical for some reason and they're labeled, that there's a clear permanent label that sits on the fleishik one and a clear dairy label that sits on the dairy ladle, then that would be a good way to arrange that. Try to do that, and that would be best. If you wanted to use, let's say, a meat ladle, listen carefully, to serve a par of a soup, and that par of soup was cooked in a dairy pot, let me repeat that, that would be a meat ladle that was serving a par of soup, and the par of soup was cooked in a dairy pot, then that's a problem. That is a problem. You shouldn't initially try to set it up that way. Look what you got going on. Some of the residue of the dairy from the pot is going into the soup, and then the ladle is fleishik, and it's trying to be a par of soup. The ladle's fleishik, the pot is milchik, and we wouldn't like to set it up that way. Don't arrange your meals in such a fashion. That wouldn't be so good. And now on to the topic of a microwave that some people want to use for dairy stuff and also for meat stuff. So here are some of the guidelines, and remember, not all rabbis agree in microwave departments, so you may want to check with your rabbi, but one way to arrange it is this. First of all, if you used your microwave for dairy and then later you want to use that same microwave for meat, you would of course have to clean up all the splatters anywhere in that microwave. The door, the walls, the spinning tray, everything. Make sure that there's no residue anywhere inside of the microwave. Also, the food should be totally covered, and that will help. And if the foods are totally covered and you totally cleaned all spills in between, then you are close to being okay in using a microwave for dairy and also later using it for meat. But also you should be certain that the meat and dairy dishes, which are going in at separate times, but make sure that the meat dish is not sitting on that same surface that the dairy dish was sitting. That we try to avoid that the meat dish, which is getting all hot, shouldn't be touching that surface where a hot dairy dish is also touching it later. We would try to arrange to not have that. So you would put some kind of like glass plate or something parav or something that separates the meat dish from touching the same hot surface that the dairy dish was touching, and you'd have to do that also to be able to use that microwave for dairy and later for meat, or vice versa. To cook dairy and meat at the same time in a microwave is definitely considered a problem, and do not do that. Don't cook meat and dairy in a microwave at the same time. Thanks for logging on, and log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.